I know I haven't posted in a little while, actually like over a week or something, but the reason is just because this past week was my second round of midterms, and in the process of preparing for those midterms, I was studying a lot and I fell behind in some classwork, so I had to catch up in that, but now that I'm caught up, I should be able to post more frequently. And this video is going to be about, it's not something that I planned, something that I was sort of inspired by something that happened to me while I was walking back from class today. So I just finished class and I was walking back to my dorm, and normally when I'm walking to or from campus I walk pretty quickly, just because I feel like I'm busy and I need to do something. And I don't really notice a whole lot of stuff because I'm walking so quickly. But today something caught my attention. I was walking the opposite direction of this older woman who, she looked up when she was maybe, I don't know, 10-15 feet away from me, walking the opposite direction. She looked up and she made eye contact with me, and she gave me this look of just like complete, utter disgust and like maybe even indignation that I can only assume had something to do with the way that I look. I mean, I was wearing a stringer in like 60-something degree weather, but I'll come back to that in a second. I wanted to talk about, I guess in all sports there's sort of a disproportionate amount of time spent preparing versus competing. So you think of maybe like a basketball player, they spend a lot of time practicing and they spend, I don't know, maybe an hour playing during an actual, I mean, they're not actually on the court for an hour, but you know what I mean. And same thing with a bodybuilder, but with bodybuilding, the ratio of time spent preparing versus time competing is even more extremely disproportionate. I mean, you figure you're training and dieting, whatever, like multiple hours per day, every single day, and then you compete. When you compete on stage, you're on stage for maybe 15 minutes, and you compete maybe, I don't know, 3 times a year, if even. So you're spending hundreds and hundreds of hours a year for, 45 minutes on stage. And in that sense, it kind of seems like it's not worth it. But I think the beauty of bodybuilding is that, well, whereas other sports, so let's say a football player, if you're really, really good at football, people will know that you're good at football when you're playing. Like during a game, they'll see you play and they'll say like, oh yeah, the guy's good at football. But when you're walking around in your everyday life, people can't really tell. I mean, a lot of professional football players can walk around and not be recognized by anybody, right? Or maybe like, I don't know, 80% of the population. But as a bodybuilder, that's different because the products of your labor are evident in your everyday life. Like you can walk around at school or at work or just with your family and friends, and people will look at you and they'll know that your physique is different, that it's further developed than a lot of other people, and whether or not they think that's a good or bad thing is, kind of up to them. And in that sense, I don't think that there's anything wrong with showcasing your physique or dressing a certain way to show off your physique, because other athletes aren't discouraged from showing off their abilities, so why should bodybuilders be, right? And I mean, me personally, I take pride in the way I look. I know that my physique isn't the greatest, and it probably won't be at any point in my life, or if it ever is, it'll be a really long time from now. But anyway, I take pride in the way that I look, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I realize that taking pride in the way I look and dressing a certain way, I'm kind of walking a fine line between pride and arrogance. And a lot of the time, what determines whether it's pride and or arrogance is not a simple definition necessarily, as it is a matter of perspective. What I mean, I guess, is that as a bodybuilder myself, I have a particular set of ideals that are different from most people. So like what I think looks nice and what I'm working toward is not necessarily what most people think looks nice, or what most people think is ideal. So a lot of, I guess, like a good example would be like a lot of girls my age or like around my age, or maybe even older or younger, whatever. Their ideal physique is like skinny with abs. So think of like the guys in Twilight, or I don't know, Justin Bieber or something like that. And even like a lot of guys would rather look like a physique athlete or a physique competitor than they would a bodybuilder. And that's totally fine. I mean, that's their personal opinion, and they're entitled to that. But just the same thing the other way around, I'm entitled to my opinion and my own ideals. So I guess the thing that you should take away from this is that as a physique athlete or a bodybuilder or whatever you are, people are going to notice you, and a lot of the time the attention that you get won't be positive. Some people might even try to like insult you or put you down, but you shouldn't let it get to you, because obviously these people have different ideals than you, And just the simple fact that they're noticing you at all is sort of confirmation of your success in working toward your ideal. And at the end of the day, your ideals and your goals should be more important than anything that anybody else thinks of you. And I think that's about it for this video. So make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll have more footage up later.